with anything to get certified on any page. You just CCHI certification.org, you just click get certified and start here, and you land on this eligibility page, which describes the three paths, right? At this time, during this year, we have three paths. You have CoreCHI certification, which has been in existence since the beginning, 2010, and it is a certification available for any language interpreter except for those for whom a bilingual certification is available. So if you are Spanish, Arabic, or Mandarin, your path is to go to CHI credential in those languages, which will include you taking the written exam, but you have to take the oral bilingual exam. Now, if you are interpreter of any other languages, you until now could earn CoreCHI certification only. And if you have done it since 2010, now you have the opportunity to transition to a higher credential. The reason I'm saying higher, because it includes two ways of assessing your preparedness to work as a certified interpreter. You passed your written exam, and then you have to take now the performance exam that is monolingual, and we call it English to English or E2E. And so from this page, you can then click on more about E2E and find out all the uh, specific information about that exam. As far as the eligibility is the same for CoreCHI, CoreCHI Performance, and it's slightly different for CHI in just one aspect, in the language proficiency. So right now I'm still a CoreCHI, and I have got my credential in 2011. So if at any moment I can go back to my account with CCHI, which is located here on the any page you see that login. That's the place where you would log into your CCHI account, and there is a place for me to pay for my E2E exam. However, because since 2011, our language proficiency requirements changed. Uh, we will reach out we'll review your, request for, pay for testing for E2E, and we will look if you meet the current language proficiency requirements. Like starting in 2025, people hopefully will already understand all this, but this year it's a little harder to learn. So that's I encourage everyone to go to this language proficiency um, page and see and read the requirements. So for CoreCHI-P, what we require, the difference is how you document your language proficiency in language other than English. English didn't change, but language other than English. Why? Because we're telling your future employers that we tested your ability to interpret. And you'll understand, interpreting means between English and another language, right? So if you remember, there were a couple of years that we didn't ask you to upload anything with the application, just to state that I assure you I speak Portuguese, Russian, Japanese, Kinyarwanda, right? But now, because we're telling employers we actually verified your language proficiency, and on your certificate for CoreCHI performance, you will have the language listed. And for that reason, our language proficiency for languages other than English changed, and they're based on the survey that we conducted in 2022. Um, the main changes, if the minimum way through non-testing to prove your language proficiency would be a college diploma from the country where that language was spoken. So those of us who speak language that is an official language of a country, let's say Ukrainian, Portuguese, Swahili, let me think of another, Polish, right? Uh, if you graduated in your country from a college with any degree, it doesn't need to be anything in linguistic. It could be accounting, it could be architecture. That is a proof that your language skills in Polish, Swedish, Swahili are at the level that meets the requirements for interpreters. Now, if you are from a country where you are a minority and your language is not the official language of education, and there is just simply no way you could have a college degree, then that language it belongs to tier 2 or 3. And the difference between tier 2 and 3 is the fact whether you have a language proficiency test easily available in the United States or not. So, language of tier 2 you can have a language proficiency test, and languages of tier 3 you that test doesn't exist, but the requirements are the same. So again, the easiest way for all 3 tiers of languages is to, if you don't have a college diploma for um, in your language, is to take a language proficiency test and pass it at advanced mid-level, or on ILR scale, it is equivalent of 2 plus level. Now, where do you find which language you're in, right? So here we have the, link to language tiers for establishing language proficiency. So if you are in tier 1, and this is 83 languages currently, uh, you could submit a diploma from a college, and that will meet our requirement. Now, if you are from tier 2, uh, that means already there is no college education in that language. Um, then you could either take a test in those languages, there are 43 languages listed here, or you can follow the requirements for tier 3 languages, which is all the rest. And the requirements there is produce 2 documents from the list that we um, have here, and those 2 documents could be an attestation from employer for whom you need to work for at least 1 year, or an attestation from a community organization that is established and meets the criteria that CCHI established for those organizations. It could be also a refugee status documentation. So with that, the question becomes, where do you take language proficiency testing, right? We have a list. We just started it, and we will be expanding it. Currently, there are 2 companies that we accept for any credential, and that is LTI, which is active-based testing. However, the OPI could be ILR scale too. And then ALTA, which is a testing opportunity usually available to health systems and employers rather than individuals. Now, for the bilingual CHI credentials, you can see we have more opportunities, including all major, large companies like CLI, Language Line, and then more regional companies and training companies from whom we also accept the credentials. Um, so far, we have not had that many new credential holders who had any problem with providing language proficiency, but we understand that we're just in the beginning of the transition.